The Dance of Starlight, a ballerina's journey. In the bustling metropolis of Lumina City, where the skyscrapers touched the clouds and neon lights illuminated the night, there lived a girl named Aiko, whose heart beat to the rhythm of ballet. From a young age, Aiko dreamed of becoming the greatest ballerina the world had ever seen, and she would spend hours practicing in her tiny studio apartment, twirling and leaping in perfect harmony with the soft melodies of classical music. Aiko's greatest inspiration was the legendary prima ballerina, Celeste Nakamura, whose performances were said to be so graceful that it seemed as though she could summon stars with her movements. Celeste had mysteriously disappeared years ago. Right after her final performance at the Grand Celestia Theater, leaving behind only whispers of her magic, one stormy evening, Aiko returned home from another grueling day at ballet school, exhausted and disheartened. Her instructor had scolded her for not being good enough, and the pressure of upcoming auditions weighed heavily on her. She collapsed on her bed, staring at the poster of Celeste Nakamura that hung on her wall. How could I ever be as perfect as her? She whispered to herself. As Aiko drifted into sleep, something strange happened. The room around her began to glow softly, and a delicate breeze stirred the curtains even though the windows were closed. She sat up, startled, as a shimmering figure appeared at the foot of her bed. It was Celeste Nakamura, her idol, but she seemed different. Her form was ethereal, her body surrounded by an aura of stardust, her eyes gleaming with otherworldly wisdom. Aiko, Celeste spoke softly, her voice like the sound of wind chimes. You seek perfection, but ballet is more than flawless movements. It is about dancing with your heart, connecting with the universe itself. Before Aiko could respond, the room transformed around her. She found herself standing in the center of an enormous, celestial stage, where the night sky stretched endlessly in every direction. Stars twinkled above, and the moon shone brightly, casting a silver glow on the floor. Celeste stood beside her, no longer a distant idol, but a guide. This is the Starlight Stage, a place where only true dancers can come, Celeste explained, gesturing to the cosmic expanse. Here, you won't be judged by technique or talent, but by the purity of your passion. The music began, soft and melodic, and Celeste encouraged Aiko to dance. Hesitant at first, Aiko started with familiar moves, pirouettes, arabesques, and plies. But something was different. With each step, her heart beat louder than the music, and the stars above began to pulse in rhythm with her movements. As Aiko let go of her fear of imperfection, her dance became more fluid, more expressive. The stars above started to twirl and dance with her, forming constellations that followed her every move. The more she danced from her heart, the more vibrant the Starlight Stage became. Her body glowed softly, just like Celeste's, and she felt connected to something much larger than herself, an endless universe of beauty and possibility. After what felt like hours, the dance came to a gentle close, and the stars dimmed, leaving only the soft glow of the moon. Aiko stood still, her chest rising and falling with the effort, but her heart felt light, as if a weight had been lifted. Celeste smiled warmly. You have found the true essence of ballet, Aiko. The stars respond not to perfection, but to emotion. When you dance, you must become one with the music, the universe, and yourself. Before Aiko could speak, the celestial world around her faded, and she found herself back in her apartment. The soft morning light filtered through the window, and the sounds of the city began to stir outside. She sat up in bed, her heart still racing from the experience, but her soul felt renewed. With newfound determination, Aiko went to her ballet school that day. Her instructor noticed the change immediately. Her movements were no longer stiff or forced, they flowed with grace and emotion, as if she were dancing not just for the audience, but for the stars themselves. Weeks later, during the grand audition at Celestia Theater, Aiko stood on the same stage where Celeste Nakamura had once performed. As the music began, Aiko closed her eyes, remembering the words of her ethereal guide. She let go of her fear, her doubts, and instead danced with all her heart. The audience watched in awe as she moved with a fluid grace, her body in perfect harmony with the music. For a brief moment, those watching could swear they saw the stars twinkling above her, and the moonlight casting a silver glow around her. It was as if the Starlight Stage had followed her into the real world. When the final note played and Aiko finished her dance, the theater erupted into applause. But Aiko didn't care about the applause or the praise. She had discovered the true magic of ballet, not in the pursuit of perfection, but in the joy of expressing her heart and soul, and from that day forward, Aiko became known as the ballerina who danced with the stars. Moral: true greatness doesn't come from perfection, it comes from passion, heart, and the courage to express yourself fully.